5 minutes to go in the third. Lakers up 29.
Oh, my God.
Schroeder to Davis. He's fired up. 16 points, 14 rebounds, 30 seconds to go. Lakers up 33. LeBron, left wing. He had 22. Now 31-0 in series where his team has been up 2-0. Bronny loving it. LeBron takes his 20th different franchise, takes down his 20th different franchise in the playoffs. Lakers win. Here's LeBron.
The Game 7 mentality for us. We understood that we had an opportunity to play in front of our fans, and we want to try to end it tonight. As hard as this series felt and as hard as this series was, we was able to conquer level 1, and now we move to level 2.
I feel like, mine is more, off the court and on the court, just being disciplined on both sides, off the court, making better decisions, on the court, being locked in, even more. Being, a leader of this team, it pretty much, start with me.
Lakers, the second team in NBA history, Brian, to start 2-10 or worse and win a playoff series, and joining the 77-78 Supersonics.
So somewhere Big Perk is like, I told y'all.
Yes, he is. Big had a 2 pieces of the biscuit.
Right.
Seattle reached the finals that season, losing in 7 games to the Bullets. So next up.
What were those two fellas like in the Bahamas right after losing the NBA Finals?
So we already had this vacation planned.
Right.
And we had this house in the Bahamas. My wife and I got there first. And Brown and Savannah came in, and we had some other friends there. And the first thing, my wife and I was out on the balcony.
Right.
All right, when Brown and Savannah came up, our room was over here, their room was over there. It was a shared big balcony.
Sure.
And so we out there just looking at the pool and chilling, and Brown and them come up. No lie, once again, one of these stories.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron came in, said what's up to Vanna, looked down, there was a pool down there.
Okay.
Looked down, he said, how deep you think that is? 8, 9 feet. He said, let me see. Took his stuff off, jumped in the pool from the balcony. I promise you.
No.
I was like, this dude is crazy.
That could have been the end of his NBA career.
He didn't even think about that. He just jumped in the water.
Are you serious?
No, I'm serious. He jumped in the pool.
Okay, then.
From the balcony.
So apparently there was a kind of crazy time for you guys.
It was down there, but that's how crazy the time was.
Right,
that's where your mind.
Finally, we have Tim Legler in studio to begin talking about the playoffs. He'll be with us throughout the playoff run up to the championship. Now, when you're a 4-time winner of a title, LeBron is, and you're the all-time leading scorer, you're the guy in the promos, okay? Yes. We understand that.
Right.
But they were dominant tonight, in large part because they got dominating performances from other players. What was most significant?
Yeah, there are tells with this team. And look, Anthony Davis, let's start with him, right? Because when he's not very good, he takes a lot of heat. Okay, and he wasn't in 2 games in this series. In the 4 games that he was, it's just a completely different team. And you could see it early in the game. I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference makers for them tonight. And it starts with the guy I just mentioned, Anthony Davis. So, and I think this is like maybe silly to some people to think, but I've noticed this about AD. Like, so right now, you got a 15-point game, and he's setting his ball screen, and there's all kinds of traffic. 2 guys are hitting him. Now, on a night when AD maybe disengages, it would not be shocking to see him set this pick and maybe drift out here and stand at the 3-point line, right? Exactly. Just sort of float, 15. I don't feel like really going through this wrestling match, but instead, he gets down here under the basket, and now you might see Anthony Davis on a night when he's not engaged, sort of just start walking back up the floor while this shot goes up. But here's what I like to see. Watch the force with which he plays. Ball goes up, and he's just going to take his arm, and he's going to just shove, and he's going to knock Aldama out of bounds. And he's got 2 guys on him, but Anthony Davis wanted this basketball. And this is a difference maker for the Lakers. He was by far the most powerful force on the court in this game. Now, I love this one because this involves AD and then the 2 other major difference maker for the Lakers. The first one is here. The screen on AD is set. He's going to dive, and watch all the attention that he commands. As he dives, now that opens up everything because you've got now 3 guys playing the paint. One of the other difference makers, Austin Reeves. This guy's playmaking ability and the trust LeBron has in him to initiate offense off ball screen. He sees this corner shooter the whole way, and that goes now to another difference maker in the corner. Bang, 3-point shooting. A different team when they make threes. So Anthony Davis, the stat line wasn't enormous in terms of scoring. He had 3 of those in this series.
Yep.
This was more about just him being the most physical, dominant presence on the court with shot blocking, rebounding, contesting shots, finishing stuff around the rim. Scott, they're a completely different team when he is engaged early and he looks like he came to do damage. That's what he looked like tonight, and the Lakers coast.
You saw one of Vanderbilt's 3 threes. D'Angelo Russell goes for 31. Once he had the grease hot, man, he was cooking tonight, and they just roll by 40. And I was joking, but not really, about if you choose to bury LeBron James teams, you do so at your own peril. We've seen it in every different team he's been with. They change throughout the year. And the Lakers have changed a lot from when they were lousy to start, when they weren't playing any defense, to what they are right now. Whoever they get next, be it the Kings or the Warriors, who is that team going to be facing in this Lakers group?
This is they're a completely different team now than the one we talked about for 3 months at the start of the year. This is a complete basketball team. They've got balance now. You heard Darvin Ham allude to some of the moves they made at the deadline. It totally transformed their team. They added 3-point shooting with Russell Beasley, who's not really in the rotation now. And then, to me, Hachimura has been a huge presence. He was big beginning of the series. He wasn't as good to finish it out. But they don't get a couple wins early without the way he played. He was picked up at the deadline. And then I think one of the biggest transformations in the league is what has happened with Austin Reeves before our eyes. It's beyond the point of, wow, this is a really cool story. Look at Austin Reeves. This guy is a phenomenal basketball player, and I don't think LeBron James has trusted anybody since the day he got to L.A. as much as he trusts Austin Reeves in terms of, go ahead, man, next 6 possessions are yours. I'm good. And I think it's preserving LeBron so that he can be fresher and more dominant when he has to be. It's incredible to watch the trust factor that he has with him. And now this is a team that, and we were saying it here for the last few weeks, could they be scary? Are they scary? Are they possibly going to make a run? There's no question this is a team now that you look at and say they could potentially get out of the West.
Tonight, that stood out to you as like, this is why you wanted to be a Laker?
I just wanted to be a part of a historical franchise when I decided to come here and be able to just change the narrative of what the franchise has been going through before I got here for a few years. Obviously this franchise is known for winning championships and winning big and playing in big games and being a part of the postseason and the fans coming out and having an opportunity to be a part of that. So, tonight is another moment that I've always envisioned. And when I became part of this franchise, and like you said, because of circumstances, things of that nature, COVID and, injuries and things of that nature, we haven't had many postseason games with a full capacity season. Full capacity stadium. So far we've had 3 and they've been electric in this postseason, and we'll hope to continue that in the next round.
LeBron, how dominant was AD defensively during this series?
I think he was AD. I think we all know, the world knows, the basketball guys know, the competition know that how dominant AD is defensively. He was AD. He was spectacular.
BT.
LeBron, Darvin said that you shared some things with the guys after the game was over about the next level. What did you say to them, and why was it important for you to share that with that team?
Because we got a young ball club with not much experience in the postseason, so just try to give my knowledge about what I've been through and what they could expect. So as hard as this series felt and as hard as this series was, it gets even harder when you move a level up. So we was able to conquer level 1, and now we move to level 2, and it gets harder and harder. So they understood that, and they'll be ready for it.
Last 2, go Ramona, and then we'll end with Rachel.
Bron, you talked about just the connection with the crowd in this game. Do you feel a deeper connection with the crowd in LA this year? Just as Dan mentioned that you didn't get to do that in 2020 and 21 and all that. I know Jack Nicholson was here for the first time since the last year's season opener. Do you feel that building as these playoffs go on and you get to play in front of this home crowd?
I feel blessed to be able to play the game anytime I put on a uniform, and to be able to put on a Laker uniform and play for such a historical franchise, it's always an honor. The connection, I think you got to ask the fan, you got to ask the Laker fans what the connection is between me and them. I feel welcome. I'm happy to go out there and perform and showcase what I'm still able to do. 20 years in the game, and hopefully I'll just add to more memories that they've had for so long with so many great players and so many great teams. And hopefully I could be a part of some of those memories.
Last question.
LeBron, what was your first thought when you saw the schedule for the next round being every other night, and what challenge is that?
Well, it's definitely going to be a challenge, but both teams have to go through it. It's us in either Sacramento or Golden State. We're going to be both on the same schedule. The plus is that it's not a 4-hour flight like we were just taking to go to Memphis and losing 2 hours, during the process. So you was losing 6 hours just going back there right off jump. So, we stay in the same time zone. We stay in the same state. It's an hour flight to each place, less if it's SAC, a little bit more if it's to the Bay. So that definitely helps. I know you guys are happy about that as well. Yeah, for sure. Especially BT, going to wine country no matter where we